Hey guys, so I've been thinking about what budget options you have for this event. So, disregarding Solemn Judgment and Dark Bribe, most of these cards are going to be SR and below. So, if you have Dark Bribe and Solemn Judgment, they'll do you some justice, right? They'll do you good. And Magical Hats is here for a specific tech, and this is a legacy card, so if you happen to have it like I do, feel free to play it. So, to pair with magical hats, we're pairing ideally Magician's Restage. So the idea here is that we'll have one of our monsters in our main monster zone. So, like, we'll say, for example, it doesn't really matter. Shiny Black Sea Squatter. So with Shiny Black Sea Squatter, we're going to put this face down, right? And then we're going to special summon in face down, defense position, two spells or traps from our deck. And the ones we will choose are going to be Magician's Restage and Magician's Restage. As it happens, it doesn't say choose two different spells or anything like that, so we could choose a Paleo card if we so wished. So, not important, but either way, the idea behind choosing Magician's Restage is that we can add a Magician's Continuous spell from our deck to our hand. So the ones we run, of course, are Magician's Right Hand and Magician's Left Hand. The effect being negate the effect of your opponent's first trap card or effect that resolves each turn while you control a spellcaster monster, and if you do, destroy that card. Or negate the effect of your opponent's first spell card or effect that resolves each turn while you control a spellcaster monster, and if you do, or if it did not have an effect, destroy that card. So essentially, negate a spell card. Mandatory effect, but whatever. And this one is negate a trap effect, and it's specifically your opponent's, right? And you might be going like, hey, but wait a minute, you require a spellcaster, don't you? Yes, you do. Which is why we're playing Shuttle Core, which is a spellcaster. And then we have Altergeist Emulatelf, also a spellcaster. We have Dwimmered Glimmer, also a spellcaster. And ideally, if we have like Piercing the Darkness alongside like Shiny Black Sea Squatter or like Beatron, whatever is fine. If we have one of our actual monsters in our graveyard, we can then go ahead and summon like Malevolent Sin. We can summon Chakanine, just Diamond Direwolf, Omega, whatever is fine. We could put in some Link monsters here potentially as well. It doesn't really super matter to me. But the thing is, with Piercing the Darkness, it has this lovely effect. If you normal or special summon a non-token normal monsters, except during the turn step, you can draw a card. And also, when an attack is declared involving an opponent's monster and a monster you control that's a level 5 or higher normal monster, or was ritual summoned using a normal monster, or was a fusion, synchro, or XYZ summoned, using a normal monster's material, you make that monster you control gain attack equal to the opponent's monster's attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Piercing the Darkness once per turn. So in short, we're just making a really obnoxious deck, but as it happens, this deck is pretty cheap to make, and I also threw in like Conk, Hack, and like Guardian of the Golden Land for good measure, which pairs with like Piercing the Darkness like decently well, if you happen to get Piercing the Darkness anyways. And if you don't, I mean, look, I have Torrential Tribute. Unless you have back row removal for me, I'm not like that peeved. I could just set like both copies of Dark Bribe, Torrential Tribute, wait for you to overextend, boom, Torrential, cry about it, right? And then let's see here, we have Magical Hats, copies of Magical Hats, Piercing the Darkness, very good. And we have Dwimmered Glimmer. That's pretty fine, but we won't really need this. So it banishes one face-up monster you control or one monster in your graveyard, either or. So this is a little bit harder to pull off than some of the other ones, like Shuttle Core and Altergeist Emulatelf. But it is what it is, I guess. But if we do control like Emulatelf and like Magician's Left Hand, that is a pain in the ass, or Magician's Right Hand with Emulatelf, also a pain in the ass to deal with, and we have Magical Hats to help us do a bit of stalling, so this is kind of closer to like a meme deck territory, but it is cheap to make, so the only SR that I would say you really need is like Piercing the Darkness, and I mean, you can gamble, you know? Does your opponent really have anything, you know, to like destroy your monsters with? Well, aside from like Dark Bribe, another budget option I believe is Dark Sacrifice would just work, I guess. Wait, is that card banned? Surely not, right? Dark Sacrifice. Send up level 3. Dark. No, it's not. I just have really bad spelling. So Dark Sacrifice works as well to protect your back row. Evenly is banned, so you don't have to look out for Evenly. So if we go ahead and use Dark Sacrifice, we just need to run some Dark monsters as well in our deck, which is doable enough. So let's see. Right now we have Beatron that is level 4, so that's a little too high level, but that just changes our plan, our battle plan like a little bit, but overall I wouldn't say a big deal. I'm sure there is something we could run that's perfectly fine and reasonable and makes sense. But this card is actually free to get 3 copies of. You get them from the solo mode, the danger files here. And it'll just protect your back row, you know. It's a little jank, and I would like prefer to use, for example, like Dark Bribe or Salt and Judgment, because it's not just protection. You can use these like somewhat offensively as well, like to stop your opponent from making their plays. Like, for example, well, this technically isn't a legal play in this festival, but let's say activate Branded Fusion, chain to Solemn, and then boom, you're doing probably better, you know? And of course, Glorious. So this deck, although not that great, annoying. And aside from that, Paleos are completely available for you to play. They are Aqua monsters, which is a bit awkward, but I mean, you're allowed to run traps, even though none of them are technically like insects, beasts, or anything. We can run Paleos. Why not? You know? We do what we want, you know? Like, what? Do you expect me to play Winged Beasts? Like, come on. Like, this would have been like one of the best options to go for, you know? Just Blackwing, right? Let me just play Blackwing. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine, you know? That'll work. So, this is banned, but this is a warrior, makes sense. This is limited one. Oh, it's a Winged Beast, strange. This is a dragon, of course. This is also a dragon. Alright. Ah, Black Whirlwind. Limited to 1. Okay, Black Feather Whirlwind completely banned. Cool. Full Armor Master, that's completely banned as well. Ah, I see. So I have, like, nothing I can really do. What am I supposed to do? I guess we'll make the Full Armor Master. Or not Full Armor Master. Armor Master. Yup. Are we just supposed to make this or something? Well, that's giga awkward, isn't it? None of these guys have decent attack points anyways, so it's like... Well, not that it matters, because how do you beat Ballpark? Like, let's say you do out Ballpark, okay? And let's say someone's made a really try-hard giant Ballpark deck. Metaverse 3, Ballpark 3. You have like one of like Sharinga. You can pop one face-up card from your opponent. That duel. Let's go Blackwing. Very crazy. Very good, I guess. Not really. That was a lie. But yeah. If you guys have any budget ideas, let me know, and I'll build the list, I guess. So yeah, this is just the basic idea. We're just saying, yeah, I don't really want to run that many insects actually for this event. I actually feel like running Spellcaster this time around, so Shuttle Core. This is actually like relatively obnoxious out, and of course, if we wanted, let's check Fogblade legal. Yup, Fogblade legal. We can run Fogblade as well. Another budget option to annoy your opponent out of playing the game. These duels are going to be hella long, and in fact, we can repurpose this to just, if we remove a lot of the funky spell stuff, spellcaster stuff, we can just throw in like copies of Fogblade along with like Giant Ballpark and stuff, right? And that is what the deck will end up being. And you know what? We might need copies of Metaverse. Metaverse unlocks like the virtual world pack, and it's just in the virtual world pack, so it's like Tindangle virtual world, so it's like kind of awkward to really get them. So I wonder if crafting like copies of Metaverse is the play. I mean, probably not. I guess we can just play Demise instead. We don't need to control like well, this is actually in the Legacy pack anyways, right? So if you have them, this is also useful. So if your opponent just special summons, oh look, now I have Giant Ballpark. Pain. Now that I think about it, this means 3 Demise, 3 Metaverse, and then like 3 copies of Giant Ballpark. And your opponent, if they have a way to recycle it, I mean, they have a way to recycle and more pain. Well, whatever. What are you gonna do about this? Probably nothing. You're just going to suffer. Let's see, what are the stat lines for this? Pretty normal, I guess. But yeah, these guys are like not that annoying, except when you realize, oh, piercing the darkness works with all of these guys. So if you have piercing the darkness and then one of the outlet cards, they're really annoying. Even though there's no point of us running any of the Elixers because they don't do anything unless we had like some way to discard them or mill them. Pretty useless. I guess we could use them with magical hats actually, so it's not like the worst if we had like some Elixers. Like we would want to run different ones for this, but we could magical hats like Elixir Black Awakening and then Sanguine and then like banish them to set Conk and stuff. And we can just have like normal monster trap beatdown, which is pretty annoying. But I mean, it works, you know? And yeah. Maybe like not all these cards fit in your build, but maybe some of them do. Not these ones, probably, but yeah. Piercing the Darkness is not completely bad either. This probably works with ballpark builds as well because you're playing normal monsters anyway, so yeah. That's all I've got for you guys today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.